Hi guys, welcome to Metal Rock Zone. It's Friday and there is new music out. Today I want to talk about Katatonia's 12th album, Sky Void of Stars. Full disclosure guys, I'm not a big fan of this band. I'm not a hater either. I just simply don't know them very much. And the reason why I wanted to do this review is partly that I wanted to listen to something that from a band that I don't really know and kind of get my feelings about it to you guys. And also, I'm going to see them live in about 10 days' time here in Prague. They're playing on a tour now with Solstafir from Iceland. And Solstafir being one of my favorite bands, I have to go and see them. So obviously Katatonia being there. So I thought, okay, I'll put them in my rotation, listen a little bit to their back catalog. And then I saw that there was a new album coming out. So I thought, okay, I need to review this album. And it's an interesting experience because I don't have a lot of reference points like I usually have with the stuff that I review. I usually know the catalog back and forth and all that stuff. So this band was founded in 1991 by Jonas Renkse and Anders Nyström. Jonas Renkse was the drummer and guitarist, and Anders Nyström drummer and singer. Anders Nyström was the guitar player. And so Jonas drums and singing, Anders guitars, and later keyboards, probably some keyboards back then as well. And yeah, they started out as a kind of like a two-man studio project in 1991 in Sweden, and then they put out some albums between 1991 and 2000. But in 97, I think, they kind of transitioned their music a little bit into more of a kind of a gothic, proggish thingy, more from the doomish death metal stuff that they started with screaming vocals and stuff like that. And the vocals were kind of the key thing there because Jonas had some problem with his voice, so he couldn't sing those screaming vocals. And actually on one of their albums, they got the guy from, what's it called, Mikael Åkerfeldt from Opeth. He sang with them one of their album to do the screaming vocals, or unclean vocals as they would call it. And so they transitioned the music into kind of more of a gothic, proggish, post-metalish to suit Jonas's vocal capabilities at that time. Plus they say themselves that they were influenced by different music. And I saw somewhere that they self-described themselves as a Paradise Lost ripoff. And I think in some way it's an accurate description for the music that they were doing around the year 2000 or something like that. Now the band started growing and they kind of got into a full band. And the band today is Jonas Renkse, who is the frontman. He sings and plays some guitars as well. Anders Nyström, who does some backing vocals, keyboards and guitars. Niklas Sandin, who is a bass player. And Daniel Moilanen, who's a drummer. And Roger Oyarsson, who plays the guitars. As I said, it's their 12th album. The cover is kind of cool. It's like ravens flying in some sort of a tunnel with an opening at the end, some arcs, and I kind of like it. And they have often had really cool album covers that are very kind of intriguing. Now, this album came out today. It's 10 songs. It clocks in around 45, 46 minutes. On the version that I have, there is actually a bonus track, so it's 11 songs on the version that I had. And I took it out running. I played it in the car. I listened to it in the studio. So I had it on headphones, car stereo. I have a good one though, Harman Kardon car stereo, and in Yamaha speakers here in the studio. And I have to say that you can hear that this is a studio band somehow. It's obvious to me that the sound is almost perfect somehow. And at some points it's too perfect. And I think that is often the case when it comes to bands that have their background in studios, that is often missing that thing that I think you only get from playing live. And because of this, I mean, obviously the production creates a base for this album, but it also makes it melt a little bit. So in my first listen, I noticed 3 songs. The rest was just somehow melted. I didn't know that I had changed song or that there was a new song playing. I was busy running, and so for me that is not a good thing because I'm missing that hook somehow, something that grabs me somehow, gets my attention, and makes me notice something specific. But on the other hand, I do also understand that with this, for the people that like this creates an experience somehow. You are somehow how to submerged in this soundscape somehow that this album creates. But yeah, great production, great sound, and think it's good songwriting, but I'm missing a little bit the guitars. As I said, I think um, they used to compose this together, Jonas and Anders, and what I've seen is that Anders seems to be less and less involved in the songwriting, and I feel that that's kind of, you hear it, there is less guitars now than on some of the older stuff that I listen to, but the guitars that are there are really cool, you know, but it's just not enough of them for me. So I feel that that's kind of, how do you say, audible or visible or hearable. And there's a lot of keyboards. So I don't know, it somehow kind of fails to capture me. I'm not sure when I should enjoy this music and where. And actually, there was another band called Soen. It's a Swedish band as well, and it was the same feeling that I got there. I heard one of their songs some years ago, and I was like, wow, this is a great song. And then I went to listen to their albums, and there was somehow it didn't really catch me, you know. So they had their moments, but didn't really get me. And funnily enough, that guy, Joel Eklöf, I think is, yeah, Joel Eklöf, he sings on one of the songs of this album. I think it's song number 7, Impermanence or something like that. So yeah, and after, I don't know, 4, 5 run-throughs of this album, it's still kind of just those 3 songs that get me. I'm actually gonna try and play you an example of this, and let's see if there is the first song called Austerity. I think that was actually a single of this album, and that's a really good song actually. That's the first song on the album. So I'll play a little bit of an example of that, and I think, yeah, that's very atmospheric and cool. Maybe low volume on this. That's good. And then there is this song called Birds. This one. And I know why I like this, because this sounds like Paradise Lost. And it's dramatic and melodic. I don't know. I mean, like, yeah, it's very well played. I mean, it's good stuff, but it just, apart from those 3 songs, it just doesn't catch me somehow. And I'm kind of hoping that that Solstad will play before, so that I can actually go home if I feel like from that concert. And but I also have to, you know, understand and accept that this might not just be my cup of tea. So my verdict on this album, after giving it a try a few times, I have to give it just like 6.5. And I can see how people that like this will disagree with me, and I think other people will probably think that I'm nuts. But and maybe it's unfair actually to judge music that is just not what you like. But on the other hand, I like Paradise Lost, and I like a lot of other more kind of gothic melodic stuff, but and a lot of kind of post metal stuff. And if you would listen to Solstad, for example, I mean, that's very much not Iron Maiden, Metallica, or thrash metal or death metal or something like that. So I think, yeah, it's just it doesn't have any peaks somehow. It doesn't rise. So the pros of this album is great sound and production, and that creates a base for the album for sure. There are 3 good songs out of 10, and obviously these guys are extremely talented. So it's very well made, you know, like there are no flaws in this album sound-wise or anything like that, and a perfect mix between all the instruments. The negatives, as I said, it kind of melts into one, and just not enough roughness on the guitar. And actually, I think also that, and I saw that somewhere, that the singer who kind of writes most of the stuff, he really likes this dissonance. And you can use dissonance, I think, in the right way, and you can use it in the wrong way. And sometimes dissonance goes too far. And I don't know, maybe that's just the thing here, that we're missing this kind of resolution or resolve somehow in a lot of the songs. So it just doesn't connect with me somehow. I do hope that I will enjoy them better live, and who knows, maybe, I mean, there are bands that I didn't like any of their albums, and I saw them live and it was great. Europe, as an example, I know it's a completely different cup of tea, but I never liked their music, but then I saw them live and they were great. But otherwise, if I'm not gonna like it, then I hope they play some of the old stuff, or I will just have to go home. So guys, tell me what you think of this album. Tell me how stupid I am to give it just 6.5. And what album is the best album of this band? Follow me on social media and all that stuff. Like, share, and comment. Have a great weekend. Thank you guys. Bye bye.